think Sasha's going to be a nice fit for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, he's definitely not flying under the radar in Sacramento, but league wide, I don't know that many people are talking about the fact that they were able to get him on draft night 2022 to get his rights for a second round pick. And then a year later, they bring him over. He seems like a guy that will fit just perfectly with this offense.
Yeah, that's another major local focal point for me. I'm excited to see that dude play because I'm not overstating this. I mean, the Kings, and I think they would say the same thing. They are hyping him a lot, in the kind of way that typically you wouldn't see. Like, let's just let him get comfortable. They're very comfortable saying, you know what, we just worked for essentially an entire year to convince him to come. It's funny because free agency, and this relates to Sasha, free agency is not what it used to be as far as how teams pursue high profile players. You know, we talk about Daryl Morey. It wasn't that long ago where every single summer Daryl would have these extravagant recruiting plans for Chris Bosh and for LeBron and for every single guy, right? Where, we're going to have props and we're going to fly to wherever you want us to go. That part has kind of changed. The Kings, under the radar, did some of that stuff with Sasha all year long. They, but in a more professional way. You're talking about going over and having meals with the man just so that he looks you in the eye and trusts you and starts to get to know you. You can then, this is Monty, this is Wes, this is, their whole bunch. Mike Brown going over there, Matina, Kolakatranis, even the business side. Let's talk to him. Let's let him know what's happening at our place. And we asked Monty, or I did, about the question of, with Sasha, you can't speak for him, you can't read his mind. But after you recruit for that whole time and you tell him, we think you'd fit in great and we think it's a place that's worth coming to, the loudest part of the recruiting pitch was the way they played on the floor. And the idea that, he was over there in Europe as a guy who, to me, it seems pretty clear, had seriously contemplated just being a European player for his whole career because he seemed comfortable. Culturally, we forget this element sometimes, guys. Like, the guys who were born and raised in that part of the world, they're not all dying to come to America. Nikola Jokic is only here because the NBA is the NBA. He cannot wait to get back to Serbia when his career is over. And that is the truth. And so Sasha, it seemed like he had some of that. So they just, months and months and months of recruiting Sasha. And then it all culminates with him, winning EuroLeague MVP. It seemed really interesting at the end in Eurobasket when they lose by such a close margin and he has a tough finish to his season that they were a little worried that he was going to have second thoughts and stay just because, that left such a bad taste in his mouth. But all those things leading to the fact that you now have a guy on a 3-year, $21 million deal that if he is who they think he is, might be one of the best value contracts out there next season.